Today, we're going to take a look at how long all 50 governors have spent in office. We're going to go through each state and see if they got into office recently or if they've been in office for many years. You might know your own state's governor, but how about all 50? So let's get into this. And one big thing to keep in mind is some states have term limits, some don't. The ones that don't are obviously going to allow for their governors to be in office longer than others. So we've got 8 tiers of shading at the top. The least time is going to be under 1 year. The longest is going to be over 9. So we're going to go in order. We're going to start with 0 years. The most recent governor to enter office is going to be in South Dakota. That's Larry Roden. He was not elected, but he was the lieutenant governor to Governor Kristi Noem, who stepped down to become the Secretary of Homeland Security. So he hasn't been in office that long at all. So he's the current shortest tenured U.S. governor. He's likely to keep that title until the next election. Next, also with under 1 year of time in office, we've got a big batch of governors that were just elected in the last election. They didn't all take office at the exact same time, but the newly minted governors are going to be Matt Meyer in Delaware, Bob Ferguson in Washington, Mike Braun in Indiana, Mike Kehoe in Missouri, Patrick Morrisey in West Virginia, Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire, Josh Stein in North Carolina, and Kelly Armstrong in North Dakota. Next, we're going to go up 1 tier to the governors that have been in office for at least 1 year, but less than 2. And due to the staggering of election years, there's only one governor that meets this requirement. It's going to be in Louisiana, and it's Jeff Landry. He was elected in 2023, so that's kind of unique. He's in that category all by himself. Next, we're going to go up to the governors that have been in office for at least a couple of years, but less than 3. These are the ones that were first elected back in 2022. For this, we've got Wes Moore in Maryland, Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, Sarah Huckabee Sanders in Arkansas, Tina Kotek in Oregon, Maura Healey in Massachusetts, Jim Pillen in Nebraska, Katie Hobbs in Arizona, Joe Lombardo in Nevada, and Josh Green in Hawaii. Then we're going to go up to the governors that have 3 years of service under their belt, but not more than 4. We've got a couple of them. First, it's going to be in Virginia. We've got Glenn Youngkin. He came into office after he was elected at the end of 2021. And Virginia is unique as they only allow their governors to serve 1 4-year term before they have to leave. But one other governor fits into this tier. It's going to be in New York. This is Kathy Hochul, and she's in a unique situation because she was the lieutenant governor under Andrew Cuomo, but then he resigned. So Hochul assumed the office and succeeded him as the next governor. She then went on to win a term of her own. So that's going to take us into the next tier, governors that have served a full 4 years but less than 5. First, we've got Rhode Island and Dan McKee. Now, McKee also is in a unique situation because he was also the lieutenant governor under Gina Raimondo. Once she became the Secretary of Commerce, McKee assumed the office. Also, like Hochul, he later went on to win an election of his own for a full term. After that, we've got Montana and Greg Gianforte, and Utah with Spencer Cox. Now we're going to go up to governors that have been in office for 5 to 6 years. We've got 2 of them. Both of these governors were first elected in 2019. It's going to be Tate Reeves in Mississippi and Andy Beshear in Kentucky. Both of them are going to be term limited out after the next election. The next tier is governors that have been in office for at least 6 years. Some of them are going to be term limited, some of them are not. We've got Bill Lee in Tennessee, Brian Kemp in Georgia, J.B. Pritzker in Illinois, Laura Kelly in Kansas, Mike DeWine in Ohio, Kevin Stitt in Oklahoma, Ned Lamont in Connecticut, Jared Polis in Colorado, Ron DeSantis in Florida, Gavin Newsom in California, Tim Walz in Minnesota, Tony Evers in Wisconsin, Mark Gordon in Wyoming, Brad Little in Idaho, Janet Mills in Maine, Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, Michelle Lujan Grisham in New Mexico, and Mike Dunleavy in Alaska. So there's a lot there. Again, a bunch of them are going to be term limited, but several could run for office for a 3rd term. Next, we're going to get into the more experienced governors that have been in office for at least 7 years. First, it's the Garden State. It's New Jersey with Phil Murphy. And the other one is going to be Kim Reynolds in Iowa. She was also the lieutenant governor who succeeded Governor Terry Branstad after he became the ambassador to China. So then we've got the most seasoned governors remaining. We've got 8-year governors. First in Alabama, we've got Kay Ivey. She recently hit 8 years, and like Kim Reynolds and some of these other governors, she was also the lieutenant governor. But once Governor Robert Bentley resigned, she assumed the office and later went on to win elections of her own. After that, we're going to go into the Southeast. We've got South Carolina and Henry McMaster. He's term limited, but he also assumed the governorship after Governor Nikki Haley resigned to become the UN ambassador. He later went on to win 2 terms of his own. The second most experienced governor is going to be in the Northeast. This is going to be Phil Scott in Vermont. Vermont does not have term term limits for their governor, but they do only have 2-year terms. Scott has so far won 5 of them, most of them in absolute landslide fashion. So far, he's got 8 years under his belt, and he's going to be looking at 10 if he finishes this term, and who knows, he could go for more. So that's impressive for Phil Scott, but he's not the most seasoned or the most experienced governor. There's one big blank space remaining on this map. It's going to go to the longest tenured U.S. governor. It's staring you right in the face, and it's of course going to be the Lone Star State of Texas. This is Governor Greg Abbott, and he's the only governor who's been in office for more than 9 years. In fact, he's been in there for more than 10. So he's got that double-digit milestone on his resume. And Abbott was not the lieutenant governor. He did not assume the governor's mansion. He was first elected in 2014, and so far he's won 3 4-year terms. And Texas does not have term limits for governor, so he's eligible to run for 4. And so far, it looks like he's going for it. So they could theoretically take him from 12 all the way up to 16 years if he finishes 4 terms. So usually, the people with more time in office are at the end of their political careers. That might or might not be the case for number 2, Phil Scott. But for number 1, Greg Abbott, it's definitely not the case. So that's it. If you're unfamiliar, Greg Abbott, he's the only governor who's been in office for at least 10 years. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be for term limits, and I understand that. However, if there were, then there's really no point in seeing how long these governors have been in office. It's pretty much going to all be capped at 8 years. So it's kind of fun to see how long they can go in some of these states where there's no limits. Some states have a lot of turnover and some don't. But this is the map of how long all 50 governors have been in office. So let me know in the comments, how long has your governor been in office? Did any of these states surprise you? Did you know about Greg Abbott being the longest tenured governor? Do you think any states without term limits will eventually add them? And after Phil Scott and Greg Abbott, which governor do you think might be next to hit 10 years or more? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.